And then you have people saying all art is political, like anime and manga is political, and so I think it's now a better time than ever to really discuss the elephant in the room, and that is the anime tourist problem.
わしはジオンの国民を急ぎまとめる方便としてこう仰せを敷いた。ジオンの理想を実現するためにも。しかし、ヒットラーの尻尾の私が独裁制に持ち込んだ。
It's not that deep. May I remind you, we are literally talking about Japanese cartoons.
より多く、より豊かにと、悪なき欲望に限りなく伸ばされる手。それが今の私たちです。争いの種、問題は全てそこにある。
But no one, not even the fans, describes the story from this perspective. Viewers have yet to truly pick up on that aspect. They don't expect anime to deal with theories of civilization and culture. It's only anime, after all.
As some of you are aware, right now there has been a rising sentiment online, in which people are saying that the media they consume, primarily anime and manga, is actually not that deep, that it doesn't actually contain political themes or any serious political messaging. And I see it all the time on Twitter, on TikTok, in my own comment section, and the worst one yet, in real life. And this is always like a weird thing to me, because anime and manga, much like other pieces of media and art, especially art, have always been an extension of an individual or a group's self-expression. So going off of this, it should be pretty obvious that the people who work on your favorite show or manga would use their work as an opportunity to express themselves, their personal experience, their personal worldview, their political beliefs, their philosophies, and even their struggles. Now, if you are someone who just wants to enjoy your media or your anime and manga in a not so serious way, it's fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to just see big mecha fights, cute characters doing cute things, flashy animations during battle scenes, or even fan service. No one is actively forcing you to engage with these things critically. But denying that these shows or manga have any sort of deeper meaning or political themes or even political messaging is a little bit ignorant and a little bit stupid, especially if your job is to review them and be critical of them. But I mean, I can kinda get it though. If the only anime you've been watching are harems, rom-coms, isekais, and battle shonens. But the caveat is, even some of those series, being some, also still do carry some sort of deeper meaning and political themes. Because anime has always been somewhat political. It's the one medium or one medium of art where people can talk about the more taboo topics due to how conservative Japan is. At least by Western standards. Because by Asian standards, it's actually quite liberal, but yeah, let's not get too deep with that. It's also a medium that could reach a much wider potential audience. So a lot of mangaka or directors might want to voice out their opinions or frustrations or maybe even solutions to certain issues through their works, in the hopes that people might start to think about these issues, talk about these issues, and even solve these issues. But as my previous video mentioned, it doesn't work out all the time. And the thing is, anime and manga have for a long time explored these taboo topics, such as sexual orientation, gender identities, the brutality of war, the brutalization of people due to a difference of race, religion, and beliefs. But the part that I suspect might be the reason for this confusion or even denial of any sort of depth or political themes from anime and manga might be in the way that these topics are usually presented in. These topics are usually layered within the story and the lore as to not be too obvious. Because again, conservative country, they don't want to lose the sponsors, or worse yet, get taken off air or their manga stop being published altogether. And it's probably this discreetness that might be the reason for this type of behavior, because it requires you to ask a different set of questions when being critical of the anime or manga that you're consuming. One of those questions being, what was the author trying to say? Where was the author coming from? What inspired the author or director to portray these characters in a certain way, or doing certain things, or to portray certain events as being good or bad? Though some series are a bit more explicit with the conflicts or atrocities that they were trying to critique, other series were intentionally being vague, not just because it's trying to protect itself, but also because the message could be applied to any situations, essentially making the commentary more timeless. Because most of these authors and directors are coming from a place where essentially the message boils down to treat people with compassion, have kindness to one another, don't oppress people for being different, protect those that cannot protect themselves, stand up for the weak, stand up against the oppressors, stand up! Parallels could be drawn to it anytime these type of issues pop up in the world. So when comparisons or parallels are made, such as when a section of the internet controversially agreed that Luffy, if he existed in real life, would be pro-Palestinian, there were many who were quick to deny it or even reject it because they themselves have never tried to analyze the series in such a way and activate their critical thinking skills, if it even exists. Because most of them have only analyzed the story and its events using context from within the series itself, so they never took the time to wonder or think, wait a second, Luffy is a pirate, and now we don't have the best association with the word pirate in real life, and his opponents, his enemies, are the world government. And then you also look back at his actions throughout the series, and then you learn more about Oda himself, and that's where you start to connect the dots. The thing is, people usually think that the media that they watch or consume exists simply to entertain them or even to sell merchandise and to never challenge their beliefs. That's half true. Because the thing is, anime and manga for years have existed as a means to protest, critique, and vent out about certain issues, but also to share and relate and raise awareness for groups of people or individuals that might need that visibility. And this is why I do find it weird for people to just straight up deny the political messaging or political themes that these series have. Because the thing is, you could still enjoy it, even if you don't agree with it. See, much like me, I'm not from the West. I don't even live in the West, but I still do enjoy watching the occasional American military propaganda, even though I understand the implications of these type of movies and the impact and influence that it could have. Even though I fundamentally don't agree with the messaging that these type of movies have. But when it does become somewhat of a problem is when you deny it, or worse yet, spin it to fit your narrative, or worse yet, call people names when they present to you the political nature and stance of these shows. But all of this stems from a shift on how people engage with the media they consume. People these days, they just consume the media they watch mindlessly, not really enjoying or even engaging with it. Most people these days simply consume the anime or manga to check it off their list. They don't take the time to ponder beyond what they see. Once they're done with it, on to the next one. But inversely, there are also people who do engage with the thing that they watch, who even call themselves fans, but yet they're still unable to read between the lines, to infer the real meaning of what they're watching. And the worst of them are those that derive meaning when there are none, drawing comparisons and parallels when it doesn't even exist, when the show or manga itself doesn't make any sort of comparison or parallel to anything else. And then the worst of the worst of the worst are those that derive meaning or parallels that is the exact opposite of what is being shown. But I'll go even more in depth about this in my next video, so just wait for that one. But what all of this does is lead to the worrying rise of AI generated content. You ever notice a lot of AI generated content that relates to anime and manga are always about the action scenes and the fan service scenes, because these are usually the parts of an anime that requires the least amount of thought and critical thinking when you watch it. So what can we deduce from all of this? Well, there's nothing wrong with wanting to just enjoy your anime or manga in a simple way, without being critical of it or without trying to find out the political themes of it. Understand that there are still people that work on them. And when they create your favorite series, they're not just making it for your enjoyment, but also because they have something to say or something to show. By saying anime is not that deep, you overall undermine the potential impact and influence that anime has on people. Remember, anime doesn't exist in this bubble where it's not influenced by events of real life. But anime itself can also influence the people around. For the longest time, anime has been made for that. A lot of these animes are made so that it can influence people to do better and be better, to do what's right. You can say it's just a cartoon, but you can't deny there have been people who have done great things because they were inspired by their favorite anime character, or even favorite anime or manga series. Just because a series becomes more political or it has themes that you don't necessarily agree with, I guarantee you could still enjoy it. And all you gotta do is stop watching Asmongold and Chibi Reviews and Nuxtaku and just go fucking watch that anime or read that manga and then talk to actual people, damn it.